House of Pace. Book of Tahlia. Chapter 5. Disappearing Act. Like, comment, subscribe, buy me a coffee. Book available on Amazon.
Morning arrived wrapped in fog thick enough to swallow the city whole. The streets of Old Beer were quiet, the kind of quiet that made you second-guess every sound beneath it. The scrape of boots, the whisper of a shutter, the low hum of something unseen stirring awake. The air hit me first, not with the tang of city smoke, but with the intimate, homey sting of wood and coal. Fireplaces breathed from every window, dry pine and oak, a slow, patient burn that smelled of soot and summer afternoons folded into winter nights. Beneath that was the softer, richer scent of breakfast. Eggs sizzling on hot iron, butter melting into bread until the crust gave off that warm, toasty sweetness. Cinnamon rode the edges of it, ghosting through alleys like a promise. It was the smell of people waking, of ordinary lives stitched together by small comforts, and it pulled at something stubborn inside me. Even the prison-rough thief Scompari could not have stayed unmoved by that. The smell felt like a truce, or like bait. My mind raced with possibilities of what information Scompari might offer, truths buried deep, names whispered only in the dark. I refused to speculate. The possibilities were endless, and I couldn't afford hope just yet. Dismounting, I crossed the courtyard toward his quarters. The dawn air bit at my skin, sharp and unforgiving. Inside, the room was silent. Too silent. 10 beds lined the walls, each occupied by the heavy sleep of men untroubled by conscience. Except for one. Scompari's bed was empty. My heart dropped. I checked the cooking area, the bathing room, even behind the furnace. Nothing. The realization hit me like a blow to the chest. That snake. He was gone. Bursting back outside, I headed for the stables, already rehearsing the report I'd have to make, the humiliation I'd endure. My horse was gone too. Perfect. The greatest thief in the world had stolen not just his freedom, but my dignity as well. The cold seeped through my gloves as I stood in the road, watching my breath curl into the morning air. I had risked my career for him. Now I would become a footnote, a cautionary tale. I was still lost in thought when the rhythmic clop of hooves approached from the fog. My horse emerged from the haze, and for one impossible heartbeat, I wondered if I was hallucinating. Then a familiar voice broke the stillness.
"You look like you could use a ride, little dove,"
Scompari said, drawing the reins with theatrical ease. His closed grin was pure mischief.
"Perhaps a stroll through the countryside to clear your head."
I fixed him with a steely glare. Relief flickered beneath my irritation, but I buried it deep. "Get off the horse," I ordered, my voice tight with barely contained anger.
"Right away,"
he replied quickly, almost too politely. Scompari dismounted at once, boots crunching against the frozen ground. His usual charm faltered, just slightly.
"Sorry,"
he said, hands raised in mock surrender.
"I should have asked if I could take a ride. The rules, they seem to live in a grey area."
I didn't answer. He filled the silence himself, as if I were being unreasonable for expecting reason.
"I thought I would be back before you came out,"
he continued.
"You do not look happy. What did I do? I am here, you are here. That was the rule, yes? What is wrong? Tell me! I fixed this."
Annoyed but composed, I held out the covered wooden plate containing the breakfast he'd requested. His eyes widened with genuine surprise.
This is for me?"
he asked, his voice softening, that boyish wonder briefly disarming his arrogance. I nodded curtly. He accepted the plate reverently, as though it were a peace offering, and hurried inside.
Yum, yum.
The warm, stuffy air hit me as I followed him, thick with the scent of burning wood and the faint metallic tang of old stone. It felt too human, too ordinary after the cold outside. We sat at a rough table while he ate, and I watched. Scompari devoured the meal with almost childlike enthusiasm, muttering,
Thank you!
between mouthfuls. His hands moved fast, almost desperate. I pulled out a small cup of goat's milk and set it beside him. He paused, mid-bite, noticing the cup. Slowly, he lifted the wooden lid, peered inside, and sighed, wagging his finger at me with theatrical approval.
Ah, you did not.
He exclaimed, wagging his finger at me in mock disbelief. Scompari leaned back in the chair, taking a slow, satisfied sip of the milk. Stretching his legs out, he sighed, like a man who'd just discovered civilization.
Stale bread and raw oats.
He said, shaking his head.
That's all they gave me in that cell, so this...
He raised the cup reverently.
This is from the heavens. Thank you.
Finish up. We've got work to do, I said, keeping my tone businesslike. While he ate, I moved to sit by the furnace, the warmth pressing against my boots as I gathered my thoughts. Behind me, Scompari's voice drifted through the room, half muttered, half performed.
Get started, she says.
He grumbled between bites.
Best start I've had in months.
I didn't turn around, but I couldn't help a small, reluctant smile. For all his dramatics, he was oddly charming, like a cat pretending to obey. Still, I didn't trust him. Not yet. By the time he finished, my anger had cooled. Seeing how much he relished something as simple as breakfast softened me a little. He was a slippery man, but he was still here, and that counted for something.
Ah, delicious. Where to now?
Scompari asked, brushing crumbs from his coat.
I am ready to save the world.
Gavoy Garden Village, I replied. Suspicious death reported last night. Wear something warm. It's a quarter day's ride. As I packed, I noticed the damp marks he left on the floor. His shoes squelched faintly with every step.
I don't have anything else to wear,
He said with a shrug, like it was my fault. I had forgotten. He only had what I left him with last night. We'll stop for supplies on the way, I said. Coat, pants, boots, and a horse. He grinned at that. But I wasn't laughing. My eyes followed the faint trail of water beneath his steps. His shoes were wet. From where exactly? Why are your shoes wet? I asked, suspicion threading through my voice. Scompari looked down, as though just noticing.
Would you look at that?
He forced a casual laugh.
Must have been from the floor. I should put them by the warmth, let them dry.
He bent to take off his shoes, and I pressed him further. But his answers remained vague and dismissive. It was clear he had left during the night, despite his denials. No, we do not have time. I will buy a new pair. Where would you be walking to get your shoes wet? I press again. He scratched his head, buying time.
Must be from when we were outside.
Outside? I repeated, unimpressed. It hasn't rained in days. Try again. He waved dismissively, shrugging his shoulders. His evasiveness was maddening. Either he'd been out, or he was guarding something he didn't want me to know. And with Scompari, the two were often the same thing. I fixed him with a steely gaze. It's bone dry in here, so enlighten me. Where outside did you manage to soak those shoes? Did you leave last night? His eyebrows rose in mock innocence.
Mia cara, how could I possibly leave when I sleep like a dormouse?
My patience thinned. I don't need riddles. Yes or no? Did you leave this place last night? His accent thickened with indignation as he gestured toward the other sleeping men.
Ask my new roommates. They saw me here, sleeping like a bambino. Best sleep of my life, truly.
Yes or no? I repeated, my voice sharp as a blade.
Of course no.
Of course, I said, my tone flat. The snow from last night would have erased any tracks by now, and most of it was already melting into slush. Without proof, I had no choice but to drop it, for now. I turned to leave, scanning the room for any sign of where he'd gone. Scompari, reading my thoughts, spoke softly at first, then mockingly exaggerated my tone.
Tahlia, if this is to work, you must trust.
He began earnestly, then smirked.
I cannot catch the worst of man if you are always asking, shoes, dry, why are they dry?
Wet, I corrected, glaring.
Exactly,
He said brightly, as if I'd agreed with him. I straightened, my patience finally gone. You'll do as I say from now on, understand? He opened his mouth as if to argue, then thought better of it.
Just saying.
He muttered, grabbing the damp shoes. As he turned away, I noted the faint trail of water on the floorboards, thin, uneven, like drops from melted frost. None of the men had seen him leave, and yet, somehow, I knew he had. Where had he gone? And more importantly, why come back? Leaving the quarters, I knew I'd have to watch Scompari closely. His skills were undeniable, but so was his penchant for bending the rules. After procuring clothes, Scompari still looked mildly scandalized at the idea of paying for things instead of liberating them. We went to the village station. I arranged for him a mount while requisitioning a second horse for travel. It was a risk. A quarter-day's ride with both of us on my mount would be cramped and slow. Given how often we would likely be on the road, now was as good a time as any to secure a second steed. Scompari eyed his new mount with theatrical disbelief. The horse was smaller and slower than mine by design, a discouraging choice, not cruelty. He let out an exaggerated sigh, lips curving into a smile that didn't reach his eyes.
The horse of my dreams.
He declared, drawing out the sarcasm until it tasted almost sincere. Making a small, ridiculous bow, he added,
Grazie mille, Agent Tahlia. Your generosity knows no bounds.
I raised an eyebrow and watched him approach the animal with surprising gentleness. He stroked the creature's mane and murmured in Italian, soft enough for only the horse to hear.
Non preoccuparti, mio piccolo amico. We are going to do great things together. Perhaps we'll even outrun death itself, eh?
For a moment, the gesture was almost tender, close enough to make me question my own suspicion. Almost. I rolled my eyes and stepped back, voice flat and professional. Move out. Romance can wait. We have a possible murder to solve.
Next, Chapter 6, Accident or Murder. Buy me a coffee. Support me and the channel to create more content. Go to the link in the description. Book available on Amazon. Like, comment, subscribe. House of Pace. Book of Tahlia.